Hello everybody, I'm Matthew Rorie, head of community here at Null Games.
And I'm Stephanie Driscoll, also known as FemSteph.
And we're here today to show off a brand new title that we're publishing called Demon Spore from DinoBoss Ltd. DinoBoss Ltd is run by Ed K, a solo developer who has been working on Demon Spore for some years now. And we're all really excited to finally show off more of the game than you've ever seen before.
Demon Spore is launching a bit later in 2024, but you can play the demo during Steam Next Fest starting February 5th.
But until then, we're really excited to show you a bit of gameplay while we talk about some of the features of the game. So without further ado, here we go.
Demon Spore is a top-down action horror roguelite inspired by 80s horror and sci-fi movie classics that put you in the shoes of a scientist attempting to cure world hunger. Your job was to create a breed of fast-growing livestock that would come to maturity hundreds of times quicker than regular animals. Unfortunately, your experiments have been tampered with, and you find yourself needing to escape your own facility while the monstrous growth spread around you. Your goal is to reach this elevator room on the far side of the facility while avoiding the most dangerous monster outbreaks.
You are not a soldier though, and your resources are limited. As you'll see here, you have some melee capabilities, but those won't get you too far against the more deadly creatures you'll be encountering. You'll need some more juice to fight back, starting with this here fire extinguisher. No, it won't do much damage, but it will temporarily freeze most enemies, allowing you to follow up with a melee attack or attempt to take them out with a chemical attack.
Biohazard threat.
You'll encounter other scientists as you move through the lab, most of whom will not be alive. Some of them will drop key items to help aid your progress, while some of them will be hosting monster growths that you'll need to fight. Once you've defeated all enemies in a room, you'll be able to move on to the next. Until then, the lockdown shutters remain closed, but there might be other ways to get around them if you're clever.
Let's take another look at the map of the facility that you'll see between every room. This drill icon here will indicate that you're heading into a room with a weapon. When you're looking at the map, you'll also notice these biohazard symbols, which indicate the spread of the main growth of the Demon Spore. You'll definitely want to avoid these rooms as best you can, but the monster is still attempting to escape into adjacent rooms, as you see here. A laser can burn off the monster's tentacles, but if you don't act fast to kill the main growth, you'll be quickly overwhelmed and surrounded. And you do die after any contact with any enemy in Demon Spore, so make sure to keep them at a distance. And you'll be dying a lot in Demon Spore, but as with any good roguelite, death is just the beginning. Let's give this another shot.
And now that we're past the tutorial, the real Demon Spore begins here. You start each run weaponless, so a good first step is to look for a fire extinguisher to help you on your way. You can check the levels map at any door. It's wise to immediately look for weapons and head towards them as soon as possible. As you can see on the map, the Demon Spore is already spreading.
Chemicals are a common and extremely useful asset to you in Demon Spore. You'll want to use chemicals and explosives to try and wipe out as many enemies as you can while saving your weapon ammo for larger foes. Many rooms have electrical devices that you can turn on to create distractions like this copy machine. Smaller enemies will be alerted and head towards the noise, letting you get around them for an attack from behind or to attempt to lure them into chemical spills. In later levels, you'll also need to be on the lookout for animal carcasses. If spores attach themselves to them, they may quickly evolve into even more deadly enemies.
Some throwing weapons have other uses. This sticky gel, for instance, will prevent these leapers from jumping at you, or you can combine water spills with electronics to create electrical traps to kill your enemies. There are a lot of different items scattered throughout the laboratory, some of which will interact in ways that will make them more deadly when combined. To ensure your survival, you'll need to use every tool at your disposal.
Area secure.
Some rooms will feature security consoles. Finding a security key and using the console will let you lock rooms elsewhere in the facility. You'll want to lock the main Demon Spore rooms down to give yourself more time to avoid the deadliest enemies in your path. But locking a room will also prevent you from passing through, so choose wisely.
Finally, we're about to find a real weapon. We're gonna grab this machine gun and show these leapers who's boss. It's behind a locked door, but we can bypass that via the access panel here. Good thing I noticed this leaper up here about to spawn on me. Before I get to the gun, we're gonna grab this shield device and use it to clear a path to the room. Shield devices will push back most enemies to allow you to move more tactically if desired. With these leapers safely distracted, let's grab the gun. On second thought, maybe we don't need to fight. This power station will let me turn off the power to this room. Fighting in the dark is deadly, but cutting the power will also immediately open all the exits to the room, allowing you to beat a retreat without having to kill everything if you like.
But it's still fun to shoot stuff.
Now, when you see these growths, it's really important to take them out as quickly as possible before they completely overrun the room. I was pretty lucky here, but the larger they get, the harder they'll be to kill, so you want to tackle them quickly. With the growth out of the way, all that's left to do is take out all of these leapers so that we can move on. Leapers can be tricky to target with this machine gun though, since they're small and move unpredictably. But if you move quickly enough, you can dodge their jumps. Leapers are easier to take out if you manage to group them up a little bit, which makes it harder to miss with the machine gun. If there are any stragglers left, we can use fires or chemicals to wipe them out. Or you can still just keep on shooting them. Now, after all these leapers are dispatched, it's time to take another trip to the security console and lock down another room.
Our goal, again, is to avoid these biohazard rooms on the map. We're still trying to lock those rooms off to ensure that we have a safe-ish passage to the elevator room. We're going to do our best to avoid wandering into any of those highly dangerous areas in this run-through, but when you get your hands on the demo during Steam Next Fest, you'll have the opportunity to see what's in there for yourselves.
Let's take a quick glance around this room to see what we can use to defeat our foes. Now, some enemies here are dormant until disturbed or awakened by noise or commotion, such as might be caused by this explosive barrel perhaps. I had one bad throw and then a perfect one. It was perfectly timed to take out the growth before it had a chance to expand. We're going to take out the rest of the enemies in this room and do a quick look for more ammo before getting out of here.
Before you leave a room in Demon Spore, it's always wise to ensure that you search the whole room and check every single corner so you can find anything in there. Ammo is super scarce and you can't take chemicals or explosives from room to room, but ammo is always worth looting before you move on.
I spotted a grabber. Grabbers are extremely deadly enemies that will, well, reach out and grab you from a distance. Their tongues will suck you back towards them, usually resulting in a very, very quick death. You want to keep your distance and take them down from afar. Again, shield items are perfect for creating some space between you and the many foes in this room.
The other large enemy here will constantly lay eggs that will spawn more leapers. Egg layers can quickly overwhelm a room if you don't take them out, so focus on them before wiping up any remaining leapers.
There are a lot of leapers already, so we're going to move around the room, trying to avoid their jumps and attempting to lure them to their deaths from the chemicals scattered around the area. We're going to try and divide and conquer here, splitting the leapers up into groups and using thrown weapons to take them out. The shield again will help to give us some breathing room, but beware that the batteries don't last forever. We're going to chill any of these remaining leapers up with the fire extinguisher to save rifle ammo. There are a lot more weapons in Demon Spore that we're going to leave you to discover in the demo. But honestly, one of my favorite things to do here is to freeze leapers in midair and shatter them like a delicious popsicle.
Rooms with a red caution symbol on them are going to feature more deadly enemies than the rooms marked with no caution symbol or a yellow caution symbol, and that definitely proves to be true here.
The Spore attempting to break in here would be bad enough, but we also have to contend with this spreading enemy that is very, very difficult to defeat in its initial form. And so death comes for us all. But as with any good roguelite, it's always a good time for one more run.
And that's a first look at Demon Spore. We hope you have a fun time with the demo, and we hope you join the official Demon Spore Discord to give us your feedback. You can join right from the main menu of the demo when it goes live on February 5th.
And there's plenty more to come from Demon Spore before launch. Experimental lab-built weaponry, rescuing characters and unlocking them, more environments, more upgrades, more enemies, and many more story elements. If you want to stay up to date on Demon Spore, give us a wishlist on Steam. Otherwise, we'll see you February 5th.